Good evening and welcome to Business Building Business, brought to you live each week by the Cosmopolitan Chamber of Commerce. I'm Rhonda McGowan. I'm your hostess as well as the Executive Director for the Cosmopolitan Chamber of Commerce. As many of you probably know, because you've seen me throughout the years, the Cosmopolitan Chamber of Commerce is the second oldest trade and business organization in the country. We've been around since 1933, and we have a very rich history. Luminaries such as John Johnson were part of the chamber. We have been on the forefront as advocates for small businesses throughout the city of Chicago. We are still around. We are always looking for new members with the Cosmopolitan Chamber of Commerce. We are now located in the South Loop area at 1633 South Michigan. If you'd like to just stop by sometime just to see what's going on and talk about the chamber, we'd be more than happy to meet you. And our goal is to bring to you issues surrounding small businesses. We bring owners in, and we feature established businesses as well as new ones, or people that are thinking of starting a business. We try to cover the gamut. And tonight, our guest is Elise Roper.
Hello, Rhonda.
Hi, Elise. And Elise is the owner of Diversified Advisory Services. She is sort of a jack of all trades. I'm going to let her tell you what she does and what her areas of expertise are. So tell us a little bit. Well, first of all, give us a little bit about your background.
Okay, well, I am a native Chicagoan, and I have an accounting and legal background. So I'm very familiar with the issues that small businesses deal with. I practiced law for many years, and now I'm doing consulting for small businesses. And I'm very excited to be working with you in the chamber and helping our small minority businesses grow.
Great, thank you. And then, so how long have you had your business, and what exactly do you do for small businesses?
Well, my company was incorporated this year. Mm-hmm. Previously to that, I was managing a small construction company. And while I was there, when I first started with the company, the owner was really kind of struggling to stay in business and was about to close business. And I was able to come in and just kind of bring some structure and organization to his company, mm-hmm. and really just kind of turn the company around so that he was able to do the business and I managed the business. So based upon that experience, I am partnering with Inner City Underwriting Company, and we are creating a back office through the tollway technical assistance program to help small minority contractors who are either have been in business or are starting their business, to provide administrative help for them, because that's typically the downfall. Exactly. Or the hardest thing for a business owner is to manage the business. Exactly. They're good at getting the business, but mm-hmm. then actually maintaining the business and running the business successfully is difficult. Mm-hmm.
And they know their business. They know how to install a window, and they can, they're excellent landscapers.
Or build a porch.
Right, exactly.
Paint. But, after doing that for 12 hours or 13 hours a day and coming home and then having to deal with the paperwork that may be associated with what they're doing or trying to bid on different projects, that gets lost.
Sure. And so often we have businesses, especially contractors, when they come in and say, I need help, I want to join the chamber, they literally come with a box.
Yes.
With all of these receipts and, no organization, and we take them, and as you do, take them from square one. So give us an example of what you might, do to help get especially contractors in order.
Well, the first thing I like to do is just try to understand their business, mm-hmm. What they do. Do they have somebody that they're currently using to help them in their business? How much how much paperwork is usually involved with it. So that's usually the first step, just trying to get an understanding of the business and how they typically, what kind of structures they may have. Do they have any structures? A lot of times it's just go as you go with the flow type.
Well, our goal is really to get our businesses in our community, move them away from the ma and pa status,
Right.
into a position that they can bid on, a lot of these construction projects that you see, government as well as private. I mean, anybody that lives in the city of Chicago, everywhere you turn, I mean, we were talking about construction on the way here. You see cranes and building, and it's something going on. And there's a lot of opportunity here, but we want our members, we want our viewing audience that are in this business. Basically, you got to get your stuff together.
Yes. And a lot of times, small businesses, they hear, well, one of the issues is you don't want to pay taxes. Okay, so a lot of times small businesses may do a lot of things under the table. But when it's time for them to grow, and when they're trying to do bonding and things like that, or try to get certified with the city as a WMBE or MBE, a minority business enterprise or women's business enterprise, the entity is asking for 5 years of tax returns. So again, one of the things is just trying to get business owners to understand, if you're going to be a legitimate and viable business, you have to file taxes. And so you have to account for what you're doing. And, you find ways to minimize the taxes, but you want to pay taxes because that means you're making money.
So basically, you're like a one-stop shop. You're getting, and when if a person comes to you with the shoebox, how long, what's the and how long would that process take for them to get, as we call it, biddable or bid ready, so that they can really go out there and bid on some of this work that we see?
Well, it just depends. I mean, typically I would say it would take at least a couple of months to kind of
That's not so
get
bad.
through the paperwork and get through the bank statements or receipts that they have. And, again, the first step is really trying to get an accounting system up and running, and making sure that they are accounting for things correctly.
And then, one thing I didn't share for those of you that are in the construction industry, because of we are partners with the Tollway Technical Assistance Program, we can offer these services for free, at no charge to you. I mean, you should be beating down our doors and calling us at the Cosmopolitan Chamber of Commerce, because we can do these services, whether it's certification, your accounting, just all of that back office administrations and support. We can do that. And then you're automatically a member of the Cosmopolitan Chamber of Commerce as well. So what are you doing for the members of the chamber?
For the members, I am assisting them with their accounting. I've even assisted some with their MBE application.
Okay.
Because that's a lot of paperwork that's involved. And again, just helping to get the different documents in order, making sure it's in compliance with what the city or the county is looking for. I'm also providing administrative services for clients. So if they don't have somebody to kind of do their paperwork or write letters or prepare statements or billing, that's what I'm doing as well for them.
Okay,
Yes.
great. And so what would a successful business team look like to you?
Well, to me, it always helps to have somebody who really understands accounting, because, again, that is the basis of the business.
Absolutely.
And so if the books aren't being done properly, that's the first red flag to, a lot of the entities that you may be applying to get certification, or even trying to get I was trying to say, if you're trying to get a bank loan, they want financial statements, and a lot of times, again, people put things together and it doesn't look right, and so they're denied.
Right.
So you want to have somebody that definitely has a background of accounting, whether it's in your office or at least have a good CPA who you can rely upon. Another person would be a good office manager.
Okay.
Somebody who's structured and organized and make sure that things are run properly in the office, because again, for a lot of contractors, they don't have time to focus on that
Exactly,
and
right.
to manage their employees or staff. So you want to make sure you have some structure in place.
Well, we found that many of our members, that back office person is usually the wife, or the daughter, and they really don't know either. But that's where you would come in to train them as well.
Exactly, and that is sometimes a good thing, because we understand you want somebody that you can trust running your business, and that is very important. But you also need somebody who's going to be knowledgeable and be able to take your business
Exactly.
to the next level. So starting out, you may use your wife or a family member or a good friend to just kind of help you get set up. But you do need somebody who, is willing to manage and be the bad person when hard decisions have to be made. You also need a good attorney to kind of advise you
That's
as well
important.
on different transactions that you may be getting ready to enter into. A lot of times I find that contractors, with the contracts that they may not even use a contract when they do business, or if they use a contract, it's not very meaty. And in this day and age of litigation, you got to have things in writing, and you want to make sure.
Sue you.
Oh, in a minute. And so you want to make sure that you have things done properly, set up properly, and documented just in case you do have to file a lien. And in that business, the construction business, that's a big thing. If you don't get paid, you don't want to lose your lien rights to get paid,
Well, what would you tell a brand new, somebody says, okay, I want to, they've maybe taken some classes, or they might even belong to a union at this point, but they've decided they want to open up their own business. What would be the first thing they would do, besides call the Cosmopolitan Chamber of Commerce?
Well, first thing is to do a business plan.
Yes.
Again, putting things down in writing is very interesting. I have some friends who are trying to do a new business, that will be quite lucrative. And I advised them, I said, go and do a business plan. And that was the best advice I really did give them, because they actually took the time to research the industry that they're
It's
getting
so
ready
important.
to enter into, and they really didn't understand how much the cost would be for really getting this business started. And so by going through that exercise of writing a business plan, it really makes a person focus.
Exactly.
And come up with some goals as to how to reach where they're trying to go. So that would be the first thing.
Yeah, a business plan is so important. It's a foundation.
It is.
And it's not set in stone. It's fluid. As you
Correct.
change, as you evolve, as you're educated and learn things, you can take a business plan and dust it off, every
Yes.
year and change it. But one thing, I've seen a lot of business plans, and people get so bogged down in telling the story and the research, which is very important. But the key to a business plan, the heart of a business plan, are the financials.
Yes.
Yes. You have to convince your lender that you know what you're doing with this and how you're going to spend the money.
Right. Or even if you're trying to get an investor.
Exactly.
And that was what we were trying to tailor this business plan to, is an investor. And again, they were just so thankful for having taken the time to do that, because you don't even realize all the little small costs that you're going to have to come up with. So you might think you only need $100,000 to start your business, when you might really need $200,000 or $250,000 to really be successful in moving the business forward. And that's, a lot of times when people start businesses, they don't have the right resources to get started. And sometimes that handicaps you depending on
Exactly.
the industry that you're going into, and especially in construction. If you're going to be a general contractor, you got to have money to fund the project.
Exactly.
And that's one of the pitfalls that a lot of contractors fall into. They try to rob Peter to pay Paul instead of really having the correct cash flow. So anybody starting a business, I would really recommend you start with the business plan.
Sure. Thank you. And please, viewers, give us a call. This is a live interactive show. Elise has a lot of expertise that she'd love to share with you. You can call us at the number on your screen, the Cosmopolitan Chamber of Commerce, at 312-738-1060. And since we're talking about the Cosmopolitan Chamber of Commerce, I just wanted to share again our mission. It's to promote the development and growth of minority businesses and to assist minority businesses and entrepreneurs within the state of Illinois by providing technical assistance, business educational programs, certification and procurement guidance, technology support, and access to capital. We don't give you money, but we help. We can help you with access to capital. And so, again, everything, our services at the Chamber are free. We have experts such as Elise that work with the Chamber, that offer their services. They offer their time to help you. We want to help build a viable minority business community in the city of Chicago, and that's what we're all about. So Elise, you said you actually worked for a contractor, for a construction company before you started your own business. And what were you able to do to help the company you previously worked for?
Well, like I said, I was able to. The main thing was coming in and bringing some structure, because there was no structure. And in creating structure, you create rules. And sometimes people don't like the rules, but you can't run a successful business without structure. There has to be accountability. And so I was able to really kind of streamline his paperwork. With the payroll, we were able to manage that, and that's one of the big things with small businesses is meeting your payroll every week, and we were able to do that. Direct deposits, making sure that people got paid on time, and just trying to have a vision, help him budget, and be able to manage his projects, so that the cash flow was managed properly.
And how much pushback did you get from the owner? That's a difficult. That's a difficult transition.
It was very difficult because this was someone who was just used to doing what he wanted to do the way he wanted to do it, and to come in and have somebody kind of tell you, well, this is how we have to do things from here on out, and we need this. There was pushback. There's going to be pushback, especially if you've been doing this for a long time. And again, a lot of people sometimes don't understand business management. They understand how to get the business,
Right.
but to manage the business is a whole nother animal. And that's why I said it's very important to have somebody that does have some type of financial background, and kind of understand the principles of budgeting and managing.
So if you can share with us, when you started there, how is he now that you've taken him from point A to point B, or any of your clients?
Well, we were able to. He was doing very well. I'm not quite sure how he's doing today.
Okay.
Hopefully he's maintained the systems that were instituted when I left. And I'm working with a young man right now who I'm trying to help him develop the right habits now. Again, you
'Cause
tend to
that's
talk.
what it is,
It
habits.
is, and you talk to the older people out there, and they tell you one thing. But again, if you're trying to go to the next level, if you're doing governmental work especially,
Exactly.
you definitely have to have systems in place, because if they come back to audit you or anything, you want to make sure that you don't get in trouble, and that you have things in place for that. So with the young man that I'm working with now, I'm helping him to really, he didn't even really know his accounts payable, what people owed him.
Oh,
So
my goodness.
I really have come and just kind of helped him, again, put some structure into his business. I'm doing his bookkeeping for him. And so on a regular basis now, he can know how he's doing on, month to month. And that's the other thing. A lot of people, if you don't keep the books properly, you don't even know if you're making a profit or not.
Exactly.
On your project. So I can't overemphasize how important it is to really make sure you have somebody who knows finances, because that's the foundation of your business.
Exactly. And, I know it sounds like a costly endeavor. You don't have to have a CPA on your staff. You just need, you can utilize services such as ours, which you do not have to pay for. But that is the easiest, the fastest way to run a business in the ground, to not know where you're operating financially.
Because you're gonna pay it one way or the other.
Exactly.
So you want to pay it. It's worth the investment in paying somebody who knows what they're doing. The other thing I want to emphasize is also, if you're going to go into business with somebody, make sure you have things in writing.
Oh, yeah.
That you have an agreement, because a lot of times, if things don't work out, you want to make sure that you have planned for the divorce. I call it a prenuptial. So, depending on the type of legal
exit strategy.
An exit strategy, and it's life happens, and so somebody could get sick, someone could die, or you just fall out, and so you want to make sure that you have things in place to plan for that.
Absolutely.
And there's nothing, and again, a lot of times people have a handshake and think that that's all that they need, but
even amongst family members, siblings.
Oh, especially with your family members. No, I'm teasing. But I mean, business is business, and so even if you're dealing with family or friends, things need to be in writing. I would advise you to go to an attorney that does business law to make sure that the structure is proper. And talk to an accountant, a CPA, to make sure for tax purposes that the structure that you're trying to create makes sense for you tax-wise.
Exactly.
So before you jump into the pool, just make sure you have the life jacket and anything else that you may need to help you if you get in trouble.
It is very rewarding and gratifying to be your own boss, to be an entrepreneur, especially in a vibrant community, like Chicago. So much is going on here, so much. And, but there's always the other side of it, of being an entrepreneur. Can you, what are some of the challenges in owning your own business?
Well, getting paid.
Oh, yes.
The cash flow is a big issue, because when you're an employee, you are pretty much assured that the owner's going to make sure that you're paid. But when you are your own boss, getting business, going out and finding business to keep the business going, that's a big challenge. And finding good help. Depending on the type of industry that you're working in, finding people who are qualified to do the work in a responsible and professional manner, that's a big drawback as well. So I would say the biggest one is the cash flow. That's probably the hardest thing of being a owner. It's a wonderful thing to have your own time and the flexibility. But, at the end of the week, especially if you have employees, being able to make sure that they're paid and your bills are paid.
Exactly. And another thing we didn't mention are those soft, entrepreneurial skills, networking, which really isn't soft, but networking and taking advantage of everything. The city's website, the state, they always have help, for entrepreneurs. And I can't I can't, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention again that the Cosmopolitan Chamber of Commerce is always here to help you. I thank you, Elise.
Thank you,
Your
Rhonda.
information was very informative, and thank you, audience. We'll see you again next week for Business Building Business, brought to you by the Cosmopolitan Chamber of Commerce. Good night.